And Anita, there is more now on that New York Times report that the FBI sent an undercover informant to question former Trump campaign aide George Papadopoulos about possible communications and cooperation between the Trump campaign and Russia. Papadopoulos says that agent who met him at a London bar was a blonde woman who he claims tried to seduce him for information. Here is Papadopoulos with Maria Bartiromo earlier on Sunday Morning Futures.
I went to jail for 11 nights because of this. After I had honeypots, money thrown my way, wiretaps, surveillance by foreign countries, and then I finally get caught in some perjury trap and I go to jail for 11 nights. It was entrapment. So
what do Georgia's revelations mean? Hans von Spakovsky joins us, senior legal fellow for the Heritage Foundation, former attorney at the Department of Justice. You know, Hans, this sounds like a James Bond movie. The blonde bombshell sidles up to George in a bar, portrays herself as the assistant or research assistant to extract information. What do you think?
Well, if what Papadopoulos says is true, that is unethical behavior by the FBI to actually send an informant to try to seduce a foreign policy advisor to the president. And, you know, this still remains, the big question remains unanswered by the FBI, particularly James Comey, and it's this. If the FBI actually had any evidence that the Russian government was trying to penetrate or get into the Trump campaign, why did they not immediately call candidate Trump to brief him, to warn him about this, the very same way, you know, the Secret Service gets assigned to presidential candidates to protect them?
Well, maybe because he's the target. Maybe because the campaign officials themselves are the target of this investigation. They don't want, the FBI doesn't want to tip them off.
Yeah, but they had no evidence that the president was involved in this. And if members of his campaign the Russian government was trying to influence them, he should have been informed of this immediately so he could take steps to prevent it. That's the way the FBI would normally operate, and I just don't understand why they didn't take those steps.
Let's get back to George Papadopoulos' claim.
Sure.
He says the word seduce. Other accounts show that she tried to get information about Russia and possible Russian contacts because the FBI, you know, they were getting all these reports of Trump campaign officials meeting with various Russian intelligence covers in various ways. And the FBI has come under criticism for that. Do you think that is justified?
Well, we don't know yet, but hopefully we will find out. Because, look, now that we know that the whole Russian collusion claim was, in essence, a hoax, you know, the AG has said that they are going to investigate. What credible evidence do the FBI have to initiate this investigation? Because if they didn't have any actual credible evidence, then it's possible the FBI actually abused its power to launch a law enforcement operation, actually a counterintelligence operation, when it didn't have the authority to do so.
Well, James Comey has been defending that, and officials have said that they followed all the rules in the book appropriately. Here's what Comey said to my old friend Charles Feldman on KNX Radio.
And the one that's the craziest is this notion that we were out to get Donald Trump. Okay, well, let me ask a question, Trump supporters. I knew, and a very small number of people in the entire world knew before the election, that we were conducting a counterintelligence investigation of individuals close to the Trump campaign. And I told the FBI team it's really important that we keep this close hold and this not get out. If we were trying to hurt Donald Trump, why on earth wouldn't we leak that?
What about the view that the FBI would be guilty of malfeasance and misfeasance if it did not follow up legitimate concerns that Russia was cooperating with the Trump campaign? If they did not do that, they'd be failing the country in their very duty.
Yeah, but Comey saying they had legitimate concerns, remember, Andrew McCabe, the former number 2 of the FBI, said that what they relied on to start the electronic surveillance and the counterintelligence operation was the Steele dossier. And Comey himself has admitted that all the information in that dossier was unverified. So that calls into great question any claims by Comey now that they actually had legitimate information or evidence that would justify opening up this counterintelligence operation.
Well, it started with the claim from the Australian diplomat to Papadopoulos, then went off to the dossier. But as you say, this will be part of IG Michael Horowitz's investigation report, as well as the Attorney General's, as well as Lindsey Graham, who plans to hold hearings on all this. Hans von Spakovsky. Hans, always good to see you. Thank you.